In 2014, Hollywood actor Jeremy Renner had the incredible opportunity to meet His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, an experience that left an indelible mark on his soul. Imagine coming face to face with one of the world's most revered spiritual leaders. This wasn't just an ordinary encounter with a famous figure, it was a turning point, a moment of deep realization that shifted Renner's focus from the fleeting glitz of Hollywood to something far more enduring, a journey of compassion, mindfulness, and spiritual growth. Have you ever felt that gnawing feeling that, despite all your achievements, something essential was still missing? This is exactly what Renner experienced, and his meeting with the Dalai Lama became a beacon lighting the path toward a more meaningful existence. Join our journey of compassion and mindfulness. Subscribe to our channel for inspiring stories like Jeremy Renner's. Jeremy Renner. Before meeting the Dalai Lama, Jeremy Renner was renowned for his high-energy roles in blockbuster films like The Avengers, The Hurt Locker, and Mission: Impossible. He was fully immersed in the hectic whirlwind of Hollywood, intense filming schedules, rigorous physical training, and the constant pressure to be the best. It was a life that never paused, an endless pursuit of fame and success. But was it truly fulfilling? Despite the outward glamour, Renner wasn't immune to the struggles that often accompany fame. The weight of maintaining his career, balancing personal relationships, and dealing with the expectations of an entire industry took its toll. Although he seemed to have it all, success, talent, admiration, there was still an emptiness, a void that no amount of fame could fill. How many of us, despite our accomplishments, feel like something is missing? It was this sense of restlessness that led Renner to seek out a deeper connection, one that would bring balance and peace to his life. The meeting with the Dalai Lama. In 2014, Renner had the extraordinary opportunity to attend a private audience with the Dalai Lama. Imagine sitting in the presence of a man who has devoted his entire life to spreading love, empathy, and compassion. The Dalai Lama's calm demeanor and his ability to exude peace and joy were almost otherworldly. Renner later spoke about how he felt an overwhelming sense of tranquility just being near him, a stark contrast to the high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled environment of Hollywood. The Dalai Lama spoke of the importance of cultivating compassion, not only toward others but also toward oneself. This resonated deeply with Renner, who had been pushing himself relentlessly, always striving for the next achievement. But for what? Was there truly satisfaction in the endless chase? The Dalai Lama's words encouraged Renner to stop and reflect on what really mattered. True happiness, as he came to realize, doesn't come from external success or material wealth. It stems from a heart full of love, empathy, and the understanding that we are all interconnected. Jeremy Renner. After the meeting, the impact of this meeting was nothing short of transformative. Renner began to pull away from the relentless hustle of Hollywood and turned inward, focusing on his mental and emotional well-being. He started practicing mindfulness and meditation, tools that the Dalai Lama himself advocates for cultivating inner peace. Can you imagine how different our lives might be if we just took the time to breathe, to be present, and to truly connect with ourselves? Renner also re-evaluated his career choices. No longer was he chasing roles that promised more fame or higher paychecks. Instead, he sought out projects that resonated with his newfound values, films that carried a message or made a positive impact. He became more outspoken about the need for compassion and humanity, using his platform to share messages of kindness. The Dalai Lama's teachings inspired Renner to become a voice for positivity, encouraging others to find meaning beyond material success. This transformation extended into his personal relationships as well. The Dalai Lama's emphasis on compassion and self-kindness encouraged Renner to be more present for those who mattered most to him, especially his daughter, whom he often speaks about with profound love and pride. He realized that, for all the accolades and accomplishments, what truly mattered was the love he shared with the people closest to him. Isn't that what we all long for? A connection that goes beyond the superficial, a bond that nourishes the soul. Renner also embraced the concept of self-compassion. As an actor, he had always been his own toughest critic, often pushing himself to the brink, rarely allowing room for rest or reflection. After meeting the Dalai Lama, he understood that true growth comes from a place of acceptance and self-love, not relentless criticism. This shift allowed Renner to approach his work with greater balance, leading not only to professional success but also to a more profound sense of personal fulfillment. Jeremy Renner and the influence of Buddhist philosophy. Jeremy Renner's journey after meeting the Dalai Lama reflects several key elements of Buddhist philosophy. He became increasingly interested in mindfulness, a practice that is at the heart of Buddhism. He often spoke about the importance of living in the moment, of being present, a value that aligns closely with Buddhist teachings. Through meditation, Renner found a way to quiet his mind, reduce stress, and cultivate a sense of inner peace. How often do we miss out on the beauty of the present moment because we're so caught up in what's next? The principle of compassion became a guiding force for Renner, compassion not just for others, but also for himself. This is one of the core tenets of Buddhism, the understanding that we must be kind to ourselves if we are to be truly kind to others. Renner began to embody these values in his daily life, whether through his charitable efforts, his interactions with fans, or his choice of film projects. He also began to let go of his attachment to the ego and the constant pursuit of material success, an attachment that, in Buddhist terms, is a source of suffering. Renner's decision to step back from the relentless chase for fame in favor of projects with deeper meaning illustrates this shift. He recognized that true happiness is not found in the accolades, but in inner peace, purpose, and connection. The broader impact of Renner's transformation didn't just impact his personal life, it had a broader ripple effect on those around him. By sharing his journey, Renner became a source of inspiration for his fans, many of whom admired not only his acting talent but also his vulnerability and authenticity. He used his influence to promote causes centered on compassion and empathy, and he spoke openly about the importance of mental health and taking time for oneself. How powerful is it when a public figure is willing to show vulnerability? Renner's willingness to share his struggles made him relatable. A role model for those also striving to find balance in their lives. Renner's story is a poignant reminder that, no matter how successful we may appear on the outside, true fulfillment comes from within. It comes from living authentically, connecting with others, and cultivating love and compassion for ourselves and the world around us. His encounter with the Dalai Lama was a pivotal moment that helped him realign his values and live in a way that was more congruent with his true self. Expanding on Renner's journey, a deeper dive. Jeremy Renner's transformation didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process, filled with introspection, learning, and change. After his meeting with the Dalai Lama, Renner began to immerse himself more deeply into the teachings of Buddhism, seeking wisdom not just from the Dalai Lama, but also from other spiritual texts and teachings. He read extensively about mindfulness, compassion, and the nature of suffering. These readings, combined with his own practice of meditation, helped Renner gain a new perspective on life. One of the most profound changes Renner experienced was in how he approached challenges. In the past, he had faced obstacles with a sense of urgency, often feeling overwhelmed by the need to succeed or to meet the expectations placed on him by others. However, the teachings of the Dalai Lama encouraged him to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as threats to his success. This shift in mindset allowed Renner to approach his career and personal life with a newfound sense of calm and acceptance. He began to see each challenge as part of his journey, a chance to learn more about himself and to grow as a person. Renner also became more aware of the impact of his actions on others. The Dalai Lama's teachings on interconnectedness made him realize that his behavior, both on and off screen, had the power to influence those around him. This realization led him to be more mindful of his words and actions, striving to create a positive impact in the lives of those he encountered. Whether it was through his interactions with fans, his work with charitable organizations, or his roles in films, Renner made a conscious effort to spread messages of kindness, empathy, and understanding. Mindfulness in daily life. One of the most significant aspects of Renner's transformation was his incorporation of mindfulness into his daily routine. Mindfulness, at its core, is about being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. For Renner, this practice became a way to ground himself amidst the chaos of Hollywood. He began each day with a meditation session, focusing on his breath and setting intentions for the day ahead. This practice helped him to start each day with a sense of clarity and purpose, rather than being swept away by the demands of his career. Renner also found that mindfulness extended beyond formal meditation. It was something he could practice in every moment of his life. Whether he was on set, spending time with his daughter, or simply going for a walk, Renner made an effort to be fully present. He learned to appreciate the small moments, the laughter of his daughter, the warmth of the sun on his skin, the feeling of accomplishment after a day of hard work. These moments, though simple, brought him a deep sense of joy and fulfillment that he had previously overlooked in his pursuit of success. Compassion for others. Another key aspect of Renner's transformation was his growing sense of compassion for others. The Dalai Lama's teachings emphasized the importance of empathy and understanding. And Renner took these lessons to heart. He began to see the people around him not just as colleagues or acquaintances, but as fellow human beings, each with their own struggles and aspirations. This shift in perspective allowed him to connect with others on a deeper level, fostering relationships that were more meaningful and genuine. Renner's compassion extended beyond his personal relationships. He became more involved in charitable causes, using his platform to raise awareness for issues such as mental health, poverty, and education. He understood that his fame gave him a unique opportunity to make a difference, and he wanted to use that influence for good. By supporting organizations that work to improve the lives of others, Renner found a sense of purpose that went beyond his career as an actor. One of the causes that Renner became particularly passionate about was mental health. Having experienced the pressures of fame and the toll it could take on one's mental well-being, Renner wanted to use his voice to encourage others to seek help and to prioritize their mental health. He spoke openly about his own struggles, breaking down the stigma surrounding mental health issues and reminding his fans that it was okay to ask for help. His vulnerability resonated with many, inspiring others to take steps toward their own mental well-being. Self-compassion and personal growth. Self-compassion was perhaps the most challenging lesson for Renner to embrace. As someone who had always been driven by a desire to succeed, he was used to pushing himself hard, often to the point of exhaustion. The Dalai Lama's teachings on self-compassion helped Renner to see that true growth doesn't come from relentless self-criticism, but from understanding, acceptance, and love for oneself. Renner began to practice self-compassion by acknowledging his own limitations and allowing himself to rest when needed. He realized that taking care of himself was not a sign of weakness, but a necessary part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. This shift in mindset allowed him to approach his work with a greater sense of ease and enjoyment, rather than feeling constantly pressured to prove himself. He also learned to forgive himself for past mistakes. In the past, Renner had often dwelled on his failures, feeling that he needed to be perfect in order to be worthy of success. However, the Dalai Lama's teachings helped him to see that mistakes are a natural part of the human experience, and that it is through our mistakes that we learn and grow. By embracing his imperfections, Renner was able to let go of the guilt and shame that had weighed him down, allowing him to move forward with a sense of freedom and possibility. The ripple effect of Renner's transformation. Renner's personal transformation had a ripple effect that extended beyond his own life. His journey toward mindfulness, compassion, and self-acceptance inspired those around him, both in his personal life and in the broader public. Fans who followed his career began to see a different side of Renner, one that was not just about action-packed roles and red carpet appearances, but about authenticity, vulnerability, and a commitment to making the world a better place. Renner's openness about his journey also encouraged others in the entertainment industry to prioritize their own well-being. The pressures of Hollywood can often lead to burnout, and Renner's willingness to take a step back and focus on his mental and emotional health served as a powerful example for his peers. He showed that it was possible to be successful while also taking care of oneself. And that true success is not measured by fame or wealth, but by the quality of one's life and relationships. Renner's evolving career. Renner's transformation also influenced the direction of his career. He began to choose roles that resonated with his values, seeking out projects that had a deeper meaning or that addressed important social issues. One such project was his involvement in films that highlighted the human condition, stories that explored themes of resilience, empathy, and the struggles that connect us all as human beings. By choosing roles that aligned with his newfound sense of purpose, Renner was able to bring authenticity and depth to his performances, making his work more impactful and meaningful. He also became more selective about the projects he took on, prioritizing quality over quantity. In the past, Renner had often felt the need to take on as many roles as possible, driven by a desire to stay relevant and to prove himself. However, after his meeting with the Dalai Lama, he realized that true fulfillment didn't come from constantly being in the spotlight, but from doing work that was meaningful and that aligned with his values. This shift allowed Renner to take on projects that he was truly passionate about, resulting in performances that were more authentic and powerful. Renner's evolving career also saw him taking on new challenges, such as producing and collaborating on projects that he believed in. He wanted to be more than just an actor. He wanted to have a say in the stories that were being told and to contribute to projects that had the potential to make a positive impact. This desire to create meaningful content led Renner to explore new opportunities behind the camera, allowing him to use his creative talents in new and fulfilling ways. A legacy of compassion and mindfulness. Jeremy Renner's journey from a Hollywood action star to a more mindful and compassionate individual is a testament to the power of personal transformation. His meeting with the Dalai Lama was a catalyst for change, inspiring him to look beyond the superficial aspects of fame and success and to seek out a deeper sense of purpose. Through mindfulness, compassion, and self-acceptance, Renner found a way to live a life that was more aligned with his true values, a life that brought him not only professional success, but also personal fulfillment and joy. Renner's story is a reminder that true happiness doesn't come from external achievements or material wealth. It comes from within, from living authentically, connecting with others, and cultivating love and compassion. His journey shows us that it is never too late to change, to seek out what truly matters, and to live a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. The impact of Renner's transformation extends beyond his own life. By sharing his journey, he has inspired countless others to embark on their own paths of self-discovery and growth. He has used his platform to promote messages of kindness, empathy, and mental well-being, reminding us all of the importance of taking care of ourselves and of each other. As we reflect on Renner's journey, we are reminded of the power of a single encounter to change the course of a life. The Dalai Lama's teachings on compassion, mindfulness, and interconnectedness resonated deeply with Renner, inspiring him to become a better version of himself and to use his influence to make a positive difference in the world. And maybe, just maybe, his story will inspire each of us to pause, reflect, and seek out what truly brings peace to our hearts. Conclusion: the meeting between Jeremy Renner and the Dalai Lama in 2014 was far more than a celebrity meets spiritual leader moment. It was a profound, life-altering experience that set Renner on a new path. It taught him that a meaningful life isn't about accolades, wealth, or status. It's about love, compassion, and the deep connections we form with others. Have you ever wondered what truly makes a life worthwhile? Renner's journey reminds us that it's not the external achievements but the internal transformation that leads to true fulfillment. His story speaks to the power of a single encounter to change the course of a life, to inspire someone to become a better version of themselves and make a positive difference in the world. Jeremy Renner's transformation serves as a powerful testament to the impact of spiritual teachings and the beauty of embracing a life rooted in compassion and mindfulness. And maybe, just maybe, it's a reminder for us all to pause, reflect, and seek out what truly brings peace to our